Hey guys, welcome back to Caden's Corner. Anthony Richardson is by far the most interesting prospect in this year's draft.
In college, he only played 22 games through 3 seasons.
This past year before declaring for the draft, he put up mediocre stats and was never a standout winner.
When he declared, many thought it was ridiculous and that he had no chance of going in the first round.
Every year there's a player whose stock skyrockets before the NFL draft. This is Anthony Richardson. In late January, his odds to be the #1 overall pick stood at plus 10,000.
Right now, his odds sit at plus 900. This means $10 would only win you 90.
The reason he has so many scouts drooling is due to the potential he holds.
Richardson's rare combo of freak athleticism and a cannon of an arm is what intrigues so many scouts. He had one of the best combines for a QB in NFL history. He set quarterback records in vertical and broad jump while recording the fastest 40 time in this year's class.
This play against Utah woke people up to who Anthony Richardson is. Florida down 6 just before halftime. The Gators run a play action off the fake jet sweep. Utah does a good job of covering the 2 receivers that Richardson can hit. He steps up in the pocket and keeps his eyes downfield. An alley opens up on the backside and he wastes no time hitting the hole. A one-on-one with the safety in the open field, he hits him with the juke and strolls into the end zone. His speed and acceleration are one thing, but the ability to make defenders miss at 6'4", 244 pounds is insane. Later in the season against Eastern Washington at the end of the first quarter, the Gators with a fresh set of downs. Richardson play actions with the running back on a naked bootleg. He almost gets tracked down and forced out by the defensive end. He doesn't go out of bounds and slams on the brakes. Does a swim move over a defender flying right at him. He then splits through a straight jacket of defenders and hits the Jets for another massive play with his legs. The next play, Florida against LSU, trailing right before halftime. The Tigers put 6 in the box and show a blitz pre-snap. Ball is snapped and the linebacker flies through, disrupting the pocket before being picked up by the running back. Richardson dips his shoulder to avoid him and rolls out left. He does a phenomenal job of flipping his hips to his target to create this velocity on the ball. This angle shows the crazy level of difficulty. He avoids the first rusher, but to bypass this end looping around, he practically has to slide his feet laterally. This takes crazy athleticism. Then he flips his hips and launches this pass sidearm to avoid the underneath defender. An absolute beautiful throw from Richardson. There was one negative in this play that prevented it from being a 10 out of 10. As he maneuvers in the pocket, he only keeps one hand on that ball, which is dangerous. You'd like to see him keep 2 hands on that football, but an outstanding play from Richardson. His next elite trait is his arm strength. Richardson consistently throughout the season made 60-yard throws look effortless. Staying in the LSU game, 30 seconds in, the Gators at midfield. Florida is running a deep post with the X receiver and a deep over with the Z receiver. They're going to max protect for Richardson to set up the deep shot. Ball is snapped and the Gators play action off a stretch left. Florida moves the pocket for Richardson, giving him all day to throw. He airs out the post and with a casual flick of the wrist, throws a 60-yard dime that his receiver is able to run under. Later in the season on the road against Tennessee, the Gators down 17 in the 4th. Florida is running a wasp concept that the Chiefs ran in the Super Bowl against the 49ers. The Z receiver comes in an orbit motion that moves the safety pre-snap. Ball is hiked and Richardson does a good job of peeking at the safety to keep him frozen. He navigates left and is forced to throw off his back foot due to the pressure in his face. He drops this deep ball in the bucket for a massive play. An incredible throw from the opposite hash and great accuracy and timing on this ball from Richardson. This was by far a top Anthony Richardson throw of this season. Florida in the red zone against Missouri. 3rd and 4 early in the 4th quarter. The Gators are going to run a play action and roll Richardson out to his right. The defensive end does a great job of blowing up the block set by the tight end and puts immediate pressure on the quarterback. Richardson full speed on the run throws a missile in the back of the end zone for a touchdown. Anthony Richardson did his best Shakira impression on this play. That dude's hips don't lie. Full speed, he flips those hips and generates so much velocity on this ball. Not to mention an absolute thread of the needle in the back of the end zone. That's amazing stuff from Richardson. Back to the Eastern Washington game. The Gators up 2 scores early in the 2nd quarter. Richardson pre-snap is looking at a single high look from the defense. The end for Eastern Washington uses a great move off the line to immediately pressure Richardson. He steps up in the pocket and gets one of his legs wrapped up. Hobbling off one foot from the opposite hash, Richardson delivers a perfect ball on this out route. This takes absurd arm strength to generate enough power to get that ball to his receiver off one foot. The offense is going to run a scissors concept with the slot receiver running a China corner. Again, we see Florida bootleg Richardson to buy time to set up the deep shot. He knows the whole time that he's going to air out this post. But once he gets his head around, he stares down this corner route to move the safety. The safety takes the bait and gets torched. Richardson lays out a beautiful deep ball and connects with his man for a touchdown. His ability to manipulate defenders with his eyes is a super underrated part of his game. This is the final play I'll show from this category. Florida down 11 late in the fourth, in need of a score to stay in this game. Tennessee is going to play a too high safety look and drop to the goal line to keep everything in front of them. The Gators are running a crossers concept off the play action. Richardson at first has nowhere to go with this ball, but notices his man crossing through the zone. He darts this ball in between 4 defenders to move the ball inside the red zone. A beautiful off-platform dime threading the needle to his man. Another elite trait of Richardson's is his ability to spin the football. Against South Florida, 10-10 ball game midway through the second quarter. The defense is running a Tampa 2. That means they're running a too high safety look with the middle linebacker covering the intermediate to deep middle. A great cover 2 beater is a high-low concept. The Gators are running a smash concept on the bottom side. If the corner sinks on the 7 route, then Richardson throws the hitch. If the corner drives on the hitch, then he bangs the 7. He drops and reads the corner. He stays with the hitch and Richardson delivers a beautiful on-time ball that connects for a first down. Great timing and accuracy here from Richardson. At the beginning of the Kentucky game, Gators at midfield 1st and 10. Florida motions into an empty look. Kentucky is in a single high. Offensively, they're countering with seams from both sides. This means Richardson needs to look off the safety and hit the open man. Ball is snapped. He stares down the safety, leaving him frozen. Richardson turns, squares his shoulders, and fires this ball to his man running the seam for a first down. Good executed football here from Anthony Richardson. Over to the LSU game, the Gators down 2 scores to start the 4th. Florida is running a naked bootleg for Richardson. Ball is snapped, defender bearing down on him, and look at this anticipation. He's winding up for this throw right now, and look where his receiver is. He threads a gorgeous ball on the run in between 2 defenders. The first game of the season was Richardson's coming out party, and he had so many brilliant plays. Florida down 1 score on the 36-yard line, when the Gators come out in a 3-by-1 and are running a drive concept. Richardson drops and stares at the single high safety and freezes him. He's winding up to throw this ball now. Look at this anticipation. He lasers this ball in between the linebackers and in front of the safety. This play does a great job of showing Richardson's anticipation and ability to slow down the game. Richardson throughout the season was super inconsistent when deciding to put touch on the ball or firing a bullet. This play does a great job of showing his ability to put touch on a pass. Back to the Eastern Washington game inside the red zone. The defense sends a blitz. Richardson manages the pocket and floats a perfect ball in the end zone for a touchdown. If Anthony Richardson becomes consistent with his accuracy, it's over for the league. The final major strength in his game is just how dang hard he is to bring down. Back to the LSU game, the Gators down 3 touchdowns in the beginning of the 4th quarter. Richardson drops back and doesn't like anything he sees. A massive alley opens up and he takes off. With his 4.4 blazing speed, watch what he can do in open space. 4 broken tackles and 6 points on the board. Back to his coming out party, going for 2 right after a touchdown. Richardson takes the snap and fakes the reverse and is immediately greeted by a defender. He throws a pump fake while literally being sacked and somehow escapes 2 defenders. An absolute Houdini play from Richardson. Beginning of the 3rd quarter, Gators staring at a 16-point deficit. LSU brings a corner blitz that goes unblocked. Richardson knows the hit is coming and he stays strong in the pocket. He gets cut down as he releases this ball and completes an accurate pass to his man over the middle. This is a flag the way he was tackled, but this dude is so hard to bring down that the defenders have to go low in order to get him on the ground. Back to the Tennessee game, first drive of the day for the Gators around midfield. Florida is setting up a deep shot, so they're going to max protect for Richardson. Ball is snapped, he fakes the play action, and is under immediate pressure. He steps up in the pocket multiple times and somehow finds a man in that chaos. But let's check out what Richardson did so well besides throwing a touchdown. Boom, right as he steps up, 2 hands on that football. Good stuff. As he does multiple jukes within the pocket, he isn't looking for alleys to run. His eyes are downfield. And finally, watch this improvised throw. That's the stuff that gets these scouts so excited. Off platform, he's able to rip this pass behind the flat corner. A 10 out of 10 play from Richardson here. The good with Richardson is dang good, but the bad with him is really bad. This past season, he barely completed over half of his passes, which is very poor for a starting quarterback.
Watching the film, this offense runs 4 to 5 screen passes per game that pad his completion percentage even more. Concern for Richardson is his frequent inconsistency. Routine short passes at times seem like the most difficult throws for him. In the Utah game near midfield, 3rd down and 5 needing a conversion, Richardson is in an empty look. He takes the snap and slows his drop to time it with the slant. He flips his hips and fires a bullet into the ground. Down 8 in the Kentucky game, 4th and 6, and if they don't convert, this game is over. The Florida offensive coordinator must love to steal plays from the Chiefs, because the Chiefs used to always run this speed out with Mahomes and Tyreek Hill on short yardage plays. Ball is snapped and Richardson rolls out and has no one to contest his throw. He winds up and dirts it behind his receiver. They don't convert and Florida loses this game. 2nd and goal against LSU. Richardson fakes the toss into the naked bootleg. He has a man in the flats wide open and throws it low and behind. A very head-scratching throw. In the Kentucky game out of 5 wide, Florida is running a drive concept from the 3 high side. Richardson with a clean pocket and a wide open man sails this pass way over his head and almost gets picked. Back to the South Florida game, another empty look for Richardson in the offense. He takes the snap and has a clean pocket. He's targeting the out from the Z receiver. His man gets out of his break and Richardson puts this ball 5 yards behind him. You see so many of these throws that should be an easy pitch and catch, and Richardson struggles to complete them. And it's not like these throws are an anomaly. They pop up 4 to 5 times per game. Anthony Richardson has the highest ceiling for any quarterback in this year's draft, but he might also have the lowest floor, and he's a major project. Whoever selects Richardson won't be expecting perfection in year 1 or year 2, but with the right coaching, this dude could be something special. He has the perfect measurables, 6'4", 244 pounds, and can flat out fly. He has the special ability to make guys miss in the open field and is so hard to bring down in the pocket. With a simple flick of his wrist, he tosses a 60-yard bomb and possesses uncanny arm strength. Behind CJ Stroud, Richardson is my 2nd favorite quarterback in this year's draft. But don't be surprised if a team moves up into the top 5 to take a risk on a potential diamond. I'm Caden Kubler, and that's my take.